Yeah, we gotta wait for that.
Jojo started off.
What up, y'all? Welcome back, Real Fans Podcast, episode 15. According to Gabe, I don't know what he was saying before we started. He was making noises randomly.
He's getting hyped, dude. Dolphins had a good day. He's getting hyped.
Apparently, this guy's hype about his Dolphins.
Yeah, man, I gotta represent today, baby.
Good moves.
What's going on with them then? Since you all hype over here,
they did what I said they should have done.
I mean, the biggest news today. So we're recording this Friday night. The biggest news today. Obviously, yesterday was Thursday. It was trade deadline for the NBA. But today, this morning, huge trade by the Miami Dolphins. First, it was set off by San Francisco. Adam Schefter came out. Obviously, Adam Schefter, huge NFL insider. He gets all the inside. San Francisco is going to move up, right? So the top three is Jacksonville, Jets, and the Dolphins. Dolphins has the number 3 pick. San Francisco moves up to number 3. And they're going to give up some first rounders from 2022, 2023, third rounder, and the Dolphins have to move down to their spot at the number 12. So that was like a major thing. I was like, because Julian has been saying for the past, if you've been following the podcast, Julian's been saying, hey, the Dolphins should trade down. I'm like, no, keep your number 3.
Gabe don't listen to me, man. Gabe doesn't listen.
He's been saying later.
I've been saying that since like the draft order came out. And Gabe's like, no, man, you gotta stay there. You take him, man. No, there's no point. It's fucking stupid. Somebody's gonna come up and they're gonna take fucking Justin Fields, which most likely the 49ers are doing. Then you're gonna sit there pretty and go take Jamar Chase.
Yeah. So that happened, and obviously, as soon as that happened, we have our little group chat on WhatsApp. Julian hit me up. He's like, "Oh, you see the Dolphins making moves?" I'm like, "Yeah." Because by the time he texted me, what happened was I was like, I was a little bit in shock because the Dolphins went down to 12. I was like, man, they went down to 12. I'm like, bro, that's kind of a far. Like, go down to like 6, 5, or 6 or 7. You went down to 12, bro. You're like out of the top 10. So then, like 4 minutes after that, the Eagles trade. I see somebody's retweeting on Twitter. Eagles trade. They trade up. So they gave up their spot, their number 6 spot, to trade down with the Dolphins. The Dolphins had to give up a first round or something. And the Dolphins came back up. They're top 6. You know what I mean? They went back to the same spot. So it was kind of a crazy turnover. And I guess as a Dolphins fan, like, it's big ups to Chris Greer, who is the GM there. This guy's making moves. Like, the Dolphins are not playing around. Like, first of all, this moves tells you, now they got Fitzpatrick, and they're kind of staying up there. They believe in Tua, right?
Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
They believe in Jacoby Brissett.
Shut up, get out of here. So you think number 3, okay, maybe they don't trust Tua. They stay at number 3 and get a quarterback or something. The fact they trade down and trade back up, meaning they still want to get, it's a signal to me that they want to get a skill guy, like what I've been saying. Whether it's the guy I want, Devonta Smith, or not, maybe he might fall to number 6 or not, whatever. But it's just a sign to me that A, the Dolphins believe in Tua, and they're probably going to get him a skill share, because we kind of knew that when Fitzpatrick left. B, this is kind of a shocker. If you're San Francisco, right, you trade up to number 3.
You're
not trading up. If you're San Francisco and you trade up to number 3, you're not trading up for a cornerback. You're trading up for a serious player that's NFL ready that you think is going to
to give up that much draft capital. Yeah, they're getting Fields, bro.
They gave up 2 first rounders for 2022 and 23 for a couple of years down the road.
Wow.
A third round pick. So if I'm a San Francisco fan, like, I'm already scared. Like, yo, you think they're gonna move up to probably get a quarterback? Is what it's looking like. And they came on Twitter. They're like, oh, we believe in Jimmy G. Jimmy G's our quarterback. He's not going anywhere. It's like, okay, say that now.
He ain't going anywhere today. He's on the team today. He's on the team today. And I think I heard them say too that they're willing to take anybody. I guess they like all. Well, first off, they said they like all 3, so they're okay with all 3.
What position player do you think they'll go for? I mean, aside from quarterback, you said like
they're going for quarterback. They're going for. You don't give up that much to not take a quarterback. Yeah. You're taking a quarter, and it's most likely going to be Justin Fields, because Zach Wilson just had his pro day. I think a lot of this happened today because Zach Wilson had his pro day, and that's like the one chance all these teams kind of have a chance to congregate and talk to each other. Well, even like teams who don't have a chance at getting him, I think they want to go there to discuss, because it's the only time people that represent their team are able to discuss trades and shit. And Zach Wilson, dude, I'm telling you, man, that guy is like fucking Aaron Rodgers. The way that man I was watching that shit. I mean, this guy's release is insane. It's so quick. And the Jets are taking him. Bob Salo sitting there staring him down. It's like, that man can fucking throw. If we weren't getting Trevor Lawrence, I would definitely take him.
Yo, I feel bad for homeboy on the Jets then.
Oh yeah,
Sam Darnold, your boy, Sam Darnold.
That's another.
That's not my boy, but yo, he had potential. So what? They're just.
I think he still does. Somebody's
going
to take him. I think somebody's going to take a chance on him, honestly, because he's not bad. He just had a shit system. Yeah, like fucking
trash team, bro.
That team is fucking garbage. Like the Jets are terrible.
Yeah. So let me ask you, Julian, because now I'm talking about the Jets. Now it seems like the Jets, they still have that number 2. And like he was saying earlier, like all the teams got together and talked to each other. So maybe it seems like San Francisco might be coming up to get another quarterback. Either they're going to see what the Jets are going to pick. Maybe Zach drops or whatever. But, we all know Jacksonville's going to get Trevor Lawrence. So let's get him out of here, out the paint, whatever. But Julian, I was trying to what is your opinion of like, what do you think now that San Francisco moves up? Do you think we're going to see all 3 quarterbacks go in the top 3? Or do you think there's going to be some other position player that they're going to go for in the top 3 picks for the draft?
100% they're getting top 3. I think the only reason why they didn't go to 2 is because they couldn't. New York's not moving, which means they're taking Zach Wilson. If New York's not moving, that means they're taking him. So that means San Francisco is content with getting Justin Fields. Atlanta, we'll see, because Matt Ryan's getting old. They might want to get the next guy in there. So we're looking at possibly 4 back-to-back, which would be the first time in history. But back to the Dolphins too, I want to say. So like, I don't know if you know what happened, but apparently the Eagles were in the supposedly the Eagles were in the Zach Wilson talk, and they said if they couldn't move up to the Dolphins spot, because I guess Dolphins and Eagles were in talks about moving up, and then they're saying if they can't get Zach Wilson, they're going to trade back. So since the Dolphins already had that connection, then San Francisco reached out to them, then they went back and went to talk to the Eagles, and then that's how they did the whole like 12, then back to 6, and now the Eagles are at 12 and all that shit. So
the way it happened on social media, like it was right away. First of all, it was a big explosion because I follow a bunch of people on Dolphins, whatever, San Francisco Dolphins, whatever. And I was like a big shocker. But then like 4 minutes later, they're like, "Oh, Dolphins trade back up." So I'm like, "Oh, they moved down to 12, they moved back up to 6." I'm like, "Yo, they're fucking making moves."
He was bad, and then 2 seconds later, he was like, "Oh man, they can move."
I did think 12 was like deep. I thought for sure it was gonna be that Carolina, because Carolina's like been pretty adamant on trying to get somebody because Teddy B is just ain't it. And I thought for sure it was going to be bouncing back to 8, but like, shit, this ended up being a lot better than what I thought would happen. So, I've been preaching the trade back drum all day, all fucking month, but it ended up being better. It ended up being better than I thought, because I thought for sure Carolina wanted somebody.
I think definitely in this trade, the Dolphins came out on top. I'm trying to pull up where the Dolphins are now. I'm going to pull up Dan Graziano, which is a football guy on ESPN. He covers a lot of football. I put it in the chat as well. It's on the group text. So the Dolphins right now, they have 2 first-round picks. They have a number 6 and a number 18 pick in the first round this year. And then they have 2 second-round picks, number 36 and 50 this year, and a third-round pick this year. And then next year, they're set up for 2 third-round picks. And then in 2023, 2 years from now, they're set up for 2 first-round picks.
So many fucking picks.
So here's the thing. Like, either A, Tua, you trust and believe in Tua and he works out, and B, if he doesn't work out, you still have picks down the road, and either this year, next year, or the year after, you have 2 first-round picks. So you can still get somebody down the road. So this to me is a sign that like, yo, they're believing in Tua. I think they're getting some insurance with these first-round picks. It's probably getting some help. But I think this is a fucking fantastic job by the Dolphins.
Get him a receiver.
Bro, you know what's so wild too about this is you're seeing it from a good team. You're seeing this from a 10-6 team. The only time you ever see some shit like this is if the team sucks. Like, when the Jags had all these fucking picks, like we were asked, like to see like a 10-6 Dolphins team and still has a shit ton of picks in the top 100 is insane. For the next 3 years is fucking wild.
And I think honestly, that could really be their year. They're putting all their faith in Tua, and I'd say they like everyone else said, they babied him this season, right? But they took a lot of precautionary action. But it was kind of good for his development to have Fitzpatrick there in his first season. Now that he's gone, he has no choice but to step up, and I hope he learned a lot this last season. Now, they did go 10-6, missed the playoffs, so that got to hurt a little bit. They got these picks set up. They're gonna set them up, around to help him out. So watch out for the Dolphins this year.
Yeah. So
I
guess
I said because I don't know if you've ever heard of Pete Prisco, Gabe, but it's one of the sports writers. I like him a lot. He's on CBS, and he said like, and I agree with him. He's like, the Dolphins right now are living or dying by Tua, because if Tua's ass,
the
Dolphins are fucked. I mean, you still got a shit ton of picks, but like most likely you guys are going to be most likely though you guys are going to be picking farther back. Because the 49ers are probably going to be good, and you guys are probably going to be. And this was your one chance to get like a really high pick. So it's like, it's like you guys are living or dying by Tua right now.
And that's what I believe in. I wear the jersey. Thank you, Jojo, for the jersey. It's a sweet gift. I still wear it. I wear it with pride. So that was the biggest. I want to get off the Dolphins because that was the biggest news today. It happened earlier this morning. Get your hand off your head like that. I want to get into yesterday because yesterday was NBA and it was NBA trade deadline, and I think the trade ended at like 3 p.m. or something, and so there was huge moves going on in the NBA as well that I want to get into. I think one of the biggest ones, I guess what we're surprised at, I guess the biggest name that I can think of is Kyle Lowry because there's a big hoopla of the last game. I think they lost, and he's like doing like some peace out sign, like some giving his final goodbyes to the camera or something, like he was going to be traded or something. And,
man!
And by the end of the night, he ended up staying with Toronto. And the biggest thing was, I guess they're saying they was probably making moves. Here's the rumor: what I heard on Heat Twitter, that Kyle Lowry was trying to get traded to Miami, and they were in talks with Miami to get traded. But obviously, what's his name, Mujiri, the guy in Toronto, didn't like the deal between that the Miami was offering. Because the rumor is that Kawhi is probably going to be when he becomes a free agent, he's probably going to want to come to Miami afterwards. So they're trying to trade for Kyle Lowry now for at the end of.
Are you breaking news, man? You breaking news?
That's the rumor.
Breaking news, Gabe? Gabe's breaking news.
Miami's
got insider.
So this
you're to hear from Gabe.
Gabe the insider. Guarantee.
I'm not guaranteeing shit, but that's the rumor going on.
Coming to Miami.
Kawhi coming. That's the title of this clip. Kawhi's coming to Miami. Breaking news.
They're saying there's some kind of relationship. I don't know this for sure. This is just rumors. People are talking, okay? Because I hear lots of rumors. Giannis was so Miami. They whiffed on a lot of opportunities this year as far as like Giannis. They're expecting Giannis to not sign his extension, and he did.
But listen, they didn't have that Giannis money. So first off, that max, ain't nobody was topping that at all. Yeah. So even if he wanted to go, he wasn't gonna refuse that.
Yeah, so I guess the biggest moves that they made, I'm talking Miami Heat as far as trade line. So we know Myers Leonard got the fuck out of here for saying some spicy shit online. So we got Trevor Ariza, which I don't know if Trevor Ariza is good or not. Like obviously he's one of the most travel players. He's
real good, defensive threat. You know what I mean? He has experience. I guess experience does go a long way, but he's not going to carry the team. Obviously, good supporting player. You know what I mean? Maybe get some timely steals like he usually does, in the playoffs or anything like that. He's known for like his clutch defense.
And Pat Riley, he loves veterans. So if you a veteran and you've been in a playoff, you have experience, you've been an all-star before, Pat Riley loves you. Like he loves trading instead of drafting new guys. He likes to trade for the other guys. So we recently got Trevor Ariza. The biggest trade that Miami, I guess, obviously after Kyle Lowry being the biggest name we got was Oladipo, which Oladipo got traded for Avery Bradley and Olynyk in a draft swap to Houston, which a lot of people are saying like Houston, which pretty much this is like a bad trade for Houston because if you think about it, they traded Harden, right? They traded Harden away, and I think they got Oladipo. Yeah. They traded Hardaway, Westbrook away. They got Oladipo, so that was their swap for Harden. But now they're swapping for Kelly Olynyk and Avery Bradley, who weren't playing too well. So
traded PJ Tucker gone. You know what I mean? And here's what I heard with that trade
to Houston sports.
Listen, I heard they wanted Hero, right? And the Heat held off so long for that like last minute decision, and they got nothing out of that, bro. Yeah. So we got all-star caliber player, we as in the Heat down here in Miami. And what did they get, bro? They just broke their 20 loss streak. the other day, bro. They lost 20 games in a row, so it's not looking bright for the Rockets.
It's not looking bright for Houston.
They had a fire sale, kind of like Orlando had a fire sale. So also rumored to be coming to my Miami Heat. As far as we're talking
breaking news again. Here we go.
Is LaMarcus Aldridge got his contract bought out, $5.8 million contract buyout, and so he's a free agent, and he was expected to go talk to different teams, but most people are expecting him to land in Miami, and pretty much we're getting him, from whatever, we're getting him for free. He's already got his contract paid out for the year, so anything you give him is peanuts. You know what I mean? We don't have to pay him a max deal. We're paying him for just a body to, a big body to go up against Giannis, a big body to go against Joel Embiid.
This is probably y'all good.
So somebody to because the biggest bodies we have are Bam Adebayo. Olynyk was a tall, big body. I guess I would consider Duncan Robinson, even though he's not really down low too much.
No, not at all. I wouldn't even consider that. No, I don't care how tall you would consider Duncan Robinson. I don't know.
He's not physical. He's not physical.
He's not physical. He's not down in the post like that.
He's not physical.
He's a great shooter. Great shooter. You're not if Bam goes out on an injury, God forbid, or he gets fouled out, whatever, he can't play. Who's your backup big man there? Like,
and dude, I was saying that shit the whole playoffs. I was like, they are living and dying by whatever happens to Bam, because they have no depth at big man, no depth. So that's why, to me, this is like the biggest pickup. Yeah, Oladipo and stuff. We'll see what he does and stuff. But like bringing in like LaMarcus Aldridge, like I think is a huge pickup. Especially, that was the main reason why the Heat lost to the Lakers. They were getting out muscled. They're just more physical. They were bigger. Like, it was just, you can't compete with it. And you had to have Jimmy Butler go fucking play all world just for the Heat to win a game.
Like Gabe said, you made good points. Think of who's in the East, right? So getting, a West Coast player, big man, over here to the East, you're going against MVP caliber this season, Joel Embiid, right? Who's absolutely dominating. You need someone against him, or at least some depth against him if Bam, can't hold it down. Let's say offensively or defensively, but you got also Giannis on the Bucks, and we all know what he can do, back-to-back MVP, All-Star MVP. And, the Nets, got KD out there, even though he's not considered, a big man, but he's a 7-foot shooter. You know what I mean? Like height, range, like you're going to need that. There's a lot of great.
Well, Heat, I was going to say the Heat also traded for that guy from the Jazz too, who was a rebounding guy. Like, I was looking at some of his like he averages like 15 rebounds a game. I can't remember. It was some foreign name. It was a little bit difficult.
There's a guy
but that's more big man depth. You need more rebounders, and like that's great. Like I love that. I love that.
Well, he hasn't signed yet, but he's kind of expected to sign.
On. What's his name?
There's the new guy they signed. The guy they picked up was. I'm gonna butcher it. Is it
you got this, man? You got this.
Pizza, something like that.
I thought it was something with an I.
What he got compared to, what I've heard is saying he's like an upgrade. Maybe not too much of an upgrade from like Olynyk, but he's more agile Olynyk, a shooter. A guy who's probably gonna play more often than Olynyk did, because he was coming off the bench a lot.
Other big moves, aside from the East, the Clippers West Coast team got reigning defending champ Rajon Rondo, veteran from Atlanta Hawks. So he goes from possibly not making the playoffs to easily a contender team right back in LA. Rondo right back over there. You guys think that's going to make a difference with this Clippers team? Me personally, I do. They were looking for a point guard all season. Kawhi wanted a point guard, and who else better than getting the dude that just won the chip in LA last season?
Yeah, I like older Rondo. I feel like he's gotten a lot smarter. Like as far as like his vision, his play, he's become more of a court general. So he's able to push the ball with the team, and I think it's a great addition for them. Like I said, Clippers have been like struggling to like compete against the Lakers, because the Lakers are they're the home team, the home squad, and they're obviously the big dogs in the West. So I think adding a veteran to that team and trying to get some playoff experience, I think it's only going to help them. You know what I mean? Like try to make that push.
And I think that it takes a lot of pressure off guys like Paul George, which anytime all eyes are on Paul George. This guy misses a shot, is breaking news. He does anything, he misses a game winner, he loses the ball, all eyes on him. So I feel like it's gonna help him. Now he has a point guard to set him up, the correct way, and help him out. Same with Kawhi. You know what I mean? You have a facilitator to help out, on the offensive game. And there's these like bad stereotype for Rondo that he can't shoot and he's not a shooter and this and that. Did you guys see him in the playoffs last season and in the finals?
He went off.
He down open threes.
Yeah, he went off.
Rondo's one of those guys where he shows up when you need him to. I've always felt that way, that Rondo shows up when you need him. He always finds a way to like do something. Like I'll never forget, like to me, the best Rondo game ever. I don't know if you guys remember. It's back when he was with the Celtics. I think they were playing the Sixers. Man dropped like 40 points with a triple double, and it was like one of the most clutch games he's like ever done. Because I think Kevin Durant was injured. Not Kevin Durant. Kevin Garnett was injured. I don't know if what game. I don't know if you guys remember what game I'm talking about. But that performance was like incredible. Like I remember watching that and just being in awe. I'm like, wow, like Rondo was fucking balling that day.
And right now, the Clippers are number 3. They're above the Lakers, and the Lakers are hurt a little bit. I think LeBron's still out with the high ankle sprain. I don't know how when he's going to come back as far as injuries with the Lakers. So like if they're trying to win, like adding a veteran player like this is going to help them. I mean, he's proven like he's a proven player in this league. You know what I mean? So and I think he got traded for Lou Williams, right? Lou Williams went to Atlanta.
6 man like Lou Will. Yo, it's crazy. I know we spoke about it earlier, but I don't know. I found it hilarious. This man Lou Will comes out saying that if he gets traded, he's gonna retire, and he actually contemplated on retirement. He posted on social media for everyone to see too as well. Yeah. Like he don't care, bro. He's going to the Hawks. Like, yeah, I was about to retire. I didn't really want to play here, but here I am. I'm like, I'll play.
Didn't he get in trouble? Remember, he got in trouble for going to Atlanta in the bubble. He went to Atlanta. He went to Magic City in Atlanta to get the wings. So I'm like, you went to your spot, bro. You're where you're supposed to be, man.
Facts.
Like, why would you not want to be in Atlanta?
Closer now. You can live right next to it.
Yeah, you don't got to take a flight. You know what I mean? You just drive.
You just walk.
Nice. He's there for the nightlife.
Besides that, the other moves, I mean, Orlando had to fire stuff for the team. They got rid of a lot of their players. Aaron Gordon went to Chicago, I believe.
Bro, they're due for rebuilding, man. Yeah. I know they made playoffs last season.
It was Eastern Conference playoffs.
They won against the Bucks first round. They won that first game, and then they got gentlemen sweeps right after. So I mean,
here's the thing with Orlando, trying to get rid of all their players. Like you said, last year they got booted by the Bucks. Like it's either you can get, they had a little players. I'm not saying they had like a super team that's going to go deep in the playoffs, but they had, at least they made the playoffs last year. And it's like, do we want to go again and just be good enough to get booted out the first round, or can we just sell what we have and get some value to get future value, so that we can beef up potentially later on. I mean, you don't want to get booted again in the first round again.
Yeah, I mean, like, were they even above 500 last year? I don't think they're
in the top 10, but they're fighting for that bottom. And
last year when they made it, like, were they even above 500 at 8?
Oh, probably not. I got to look back at the records. But Jojo, this year they're doing the expanded playoffs this year in the NBA. So 10 teams. They're gonna have it's a regular 8 teams, but they're having 7. I think it's what did I say yesterday? It was 7 through 10.
10, yeah, 7 through 10 are play-in
games, right?
Yeah, playing games. So they're doing expanded playoffs. So it's like, do I want to fight for barely a 7 or 8 spot and get booted by the Nets or booted by the Bucks, or do I just trade now and try to build later on? You know what I mean? Like at some point you got to pull the ripcord and just say, like, it's not worth it. Like, we're already a sorry team, we're losing, might as well try to get some draft picks and get later. You know what I mean? How do you feel about that, Jojo?
I mean, I agree, man. They just got rid of the best player. It's official, right? Like he's gone.
Yeah.
What's left? You know what I mean?
Disney.
That's it.
Mickey Mouse. Mickey Mouse is left.
Maybe they recruit Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, players. I don't know what's going on over there.
Got Donald Duck over there.
But I agree. They should definitely start from scratch and rebuild, man. Potentially get some picks. They're not gonna do it through free agency, I tell you that.
Yeah. I feel like all the big players got locked up. So
you know why? Because the destination in Florida is where? Miami. Nobody wants to play in Orlando. They gotta come down to Miami.
You're right about that.
You know what I mean? So
if the thing is with the Orlando Magic's, like every time they've been good, it's because they've drafted well. Like throughout the whole franchise, it's like they draft well, but they can never hold on to those players. Look at Shaq, Tracy McGrady, fucking Dwight Howard, JJ Redick. Like they lose all their guys, man.
Yeah. So moving on. So that was yesterday, Thursday. Today, Friday was some big football news, but tomorrow we have some more sports going on. Julian, if you want to get into UFC, tomorrow's UFC, was it 260 or 250?
Yeah.
So, Julian, what are the big fights
you're about to see? Some big ass motherfuckers swing on each other. That's what we're about to see. No, I mean, I am so pumped for this fucking fight because you got Francis Ngannou and Stipe. Francis Ngannou is a fucking monster, like a legitimate monster. This man was working in the mines in Africa at the age of 10. So this man has had strength built up since like the age of 10, and he's
callous.
And bro, and I was actually, he was on Joe Rogan. I was listening to his whole story. It's actually like really just like a pure like American dream type of story, coming like from nothing and coming over here and like making something out of himself. But the guy's a fucking monster. I mean, I think he has the world record for the hardest punch. Like he has the world record for the hardest punch. They say his punch
in there.
I don't know about the Guinness World Record, but I literally heard about this the other day. I didn't know that. I didn't know this, but I was like, wow, really? Apparently, his punch, the force is the same amount of force as like a Ford F-150 or some shit like that.
Like what, like 50 miles an hour?
Yeah, I believe his past.
Rock by a truck.
I believe his past 8 wins were by knockout and TKO. His only loss is to Stipe, because this is Stipe Ngannou 2, and then he lost to Derek Lewis. But they believe a lot of that was he just because of him losing to Stipe, he just wasn't. He was kind of off track, but then he kind of bounced back and just started knocking motherfuckers out again. So I'm really pumped because I mean, this guy's a fucking freak. He's insane. Like I don't understand you. The guy looks like a god. Like it's fucking wild. And then
pull up the tape. Like pull up. You want to pull up the screen? I don't know. Do you have that already? I
don't have it up. You can send me a link. But yeah, it's wild. But then you have Stipe on the other side, which Stipe is probably the greatest heavyweight to ever fight. I mean, he actually single-handedly like beat Ngannou. But surprisingly, as Stipe, the greatest heavyweight to probably ever do it, and has not lost he lost to Cormier, but then he beat Cormier twice in a row now and forced Cormier into retirement.
Wow. But that was Cormier's last fight.
Yeah, they fought all 3 times in a row. Yeah, they fought all 3 times in a row. So this is gonna be the first time Stipe's fighting a different fighter in like a long ass time. Yeah, in a while. I think the last time he fought was against Ngannou, actually. But yeah, I mean, Stipe, All-American wrestler. He comes from Ohio. I can't remember where he went to college, but I mean, the dude's a monster, and that's how he ended up beating Ngannou in the first fight. I mean, he just out-wrestled him and ground and pound. But I think Ngannou's coming in here. He's going to be a different fighter. He's going to really work on what he believed messed him up in the first place. But I'm really pumped for this. Ngannou's actually the favorite coming into this fight, which is wild. But I'm super pumped for this. And me and Gabe, we're going to sit there and watch it. We're going to get lit. We're going to watch it. We're going to see 2 big ass fucking men just like swing as hard as they can at each other.
Throwing Ford F-150s at each other.
Bro, I mean, this is going to be great because, yeah, I mean, Ngannou's a striker. So if Ngannou can keep Stipe up, it's going to be really scary for him because he's one of the, like I said, for him, it's one punch, bro. That guy's got insane force.
So looking at the tail of the tape, Stipe is 20-3. Ngannou is 15-3. They're both 6'4". Stipe's coming in at 240, and they got Ngannou at 250. I think Ngannou's got 3 inches of reach on Stipe, and about about 4 or 5 inches, 4.5 inches of kick reach, leg reach on him. But Stipe is a champion. Obviously, like he said, he beat Cormier twice.
I got it up now, so people see.
Yeah, if you want to like kind of go through it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're looking forward to. We're gonna be watching the match tomorrow. I think it's gonna be exciting. This is really the only. I don't know if there's any else on the card on 260 that you wanted to talk about. Maybe one other match, right?
Yeah, you got Tyrod Woodley. We'll see if he can bounce back. That dude's been on a downturn.
Yeah, man. I don't know what happened.
Dude, he lost to Usman. He got his shit rocked by Usman, and I think he's still rocked by it because he's lost like 3 fights in a row now. He lost to Usman, then he lost to Colby Covington, and then he lost to. Who did he lose to? I don't know. He lost to another top contender. I mean, he's lost to 3 top contenders. So it's like he's really got to kind of start from scratch. He's got to fight tonight. He's ranked 7th now. He's going to be fighting ranked 10. I've never heard of the guy personally. But I mean, this is a huge fight for him. I mean, this is for him to get back in that contention. He needs to win this and maybe win another one, and then he's got to beat a real contender. So I don't know what happened. I was a big Woodley fan because that's another guy where you look at him like, damn, this guy's fucking shredded. Like he's huge.
Built different.
Him and Usman, man, and him and Usman are like that. But he ended up getting out wrestled by Usman, and he just ever since then, man, he's been going downhill. We'll see if he can. I really hope he can come back and really do something. I believe Khabib's brother or cousin or something's fighting tonight or fighting that day. Abubakar Nurmagomedov. I believe
it's from that same family of that same.
Yeah, they're related somehow. I don't remember if it's brothers or like cousins or something. And then another fight I'm super pumped for is Sean O'Malley. I don't know if you've heard of him, Jojo, but he's like he's made like a presence of himself like on the YouTube world. But this dude is fucking electric, bro. This guy, he can fucking like he's so ridiculously fast. If you look at his highlight of his last fight, he knocked the dog shit out of this one guy. And he's just
he's more of a striker than anything.
Yeah, he's tall. He's 5'11", and he fights at bantamweight. He's pretty at 120 at 135 for 5'11" at 135. He's a lanky guy, pretty skinny, but yeah, he's explosive, bro. He's super explosive. So I'm excited to see him fight. He's always a super entertaining fight. So
that's going on Saturday night, but obviously also Saturday. So we'll probably review the fight. We'll probably live stream it or have some tweeting or stuff about the fight.
Oh yeah,
watch it. That's
Gabe's
Saturday
gonna be live
night.
tweeting it. Gabe's gonna be live tweeting it because he wants to remember what happened.
We got some hate. We got some hate on our YouTube. Jojo.
We got some. Dude, these Polish guys were coming after us, bro, because I think one of us said something about the guy we thought he was like I think he's Russian or something like that, and they're like he's from Poland and all this like, and then he's like I remember saying like he's a grappler, which he is a grappler, and the guy responds to the comments, he's like he's not a grappler. He's an MMA fighter. I'm like, this fucking guy. I don't know. Sorry.
Excuse me.
I don't know. It was funny, but I just thought it was funny. That video actually performed well, but I thought it was funny though.
We're gonna try to give you some more hard hitting. I'll be live tweeting the fights, commentary.
There's some other shit, but I thought it was funny though. I was like, so Gabe wants to live tweet it to keep some notes. And also get our live reactions of it.
Because when I'm watching the fight, like I got pitcher beer, I'm drinking, I'm seeing the fight. I'm like, okay, maybe he won or he not. But I'm gonna try to get some. I'll do it live so I can get some notes of like, okay, this minute he did something good. This minute he 8 punches or whatever. I'll try to do a better job of doing that live.
Do a better job, Gabe. Come on. He's
this
not from Russia.
This Saturday we also got NCAA March Madness still going on. Obviously, it's about to pop off tomorrow. I think 2:00 is when they start. Games going on. This past weekend was kind of crazy because it was upset city, and I know JoJo's been watching. JoJo's been watching NCAA so much he showed up late to work, bro. He forgot he had to go to work while he was watching fucking basketball. So, JoJo, I just want to kind of get your thoughts of what games you saw and what you thought of last week. That was going on.
All right, listen, first and foremost, the last episode I was on, you guys saw what jersey and what team I was repping. And it was a tough night for me. We UConn, we lost in the first round against Maryland by I think like 8 or 9 points. almost made a comeback in the last few minutes. Running a full court press, got a couple steals there at the end. But then, of course, when you're running a full court press, that obviously leads to a risk of, getting the ball down court faster for easy layups or dunks, which happened. But we had a few clutch steals at the end, missed some free throws, lost the game to Maryland. Maryland moved on. But guess what? Bama took them out. So you know what? Go ahead, Bama. No, but it's crazy upsets. This is the highest. The highest average seed count for the Sweet 16 right now.
Ever?
Like in terms of the remaining ever. Like ever. And fun fact, 2 years ago, because obviously it was canceled last season, when Virginia won, that was the lowest average seed count ever.
Yeah.
Wow.
Meaning like the number 1 seeds and the 2 seeds, those are the teams that made it towards the end to the Final Four, Sweet 16, Elite 8, all that good stuff. But now this is the highest seed count because of all the upsets going on, which is insane, honestly. So my bandwagon team right now, so I know since UConn's out, I gotta stick with the my Northeast teams. Syracuse making a little run over here.
Yeah.
They beat
represent upstate. Represent upstate.
Number 3. So.
Buffalo, right? No,
Buffalo. Represent upstate.
This guy swears I'm from Buffalo. Anyway, Syracuse is actually pretty close to Buffalo. But yeah, man, that's my bandwagon team. And I would not sleep on Oral Roberts this next round. You got Loyola. Beat the crap out of Illinois by like 20.
They beat the absolute dude. They whooped the shit out of those guys. I couldn't believe it.
Bro,
they got sprinkled with some holy water and the power of the Lord to have them win that fucking game. I don't know how they did that. And then my one pick I made last week was Florida. They got their ass beat by Oral Roberts. That was my pick. Well, they didn't get their ass beat, but I mean, that was my pick. And I was like, Florida loses to Oral. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
I'm like, UConn's gone in first round. Like, do I even want to continue watching the tournament? My team's gone.
Yeah, I was going to go for Florida, but I was like,
who you going for, Gabe? Who was your pick?
He said Florida.
I mean,
like an FSU, wasn't it? Right? It was
Florida. I know. He said Florida too. He was with me on that one.
I was going with Florida just because I've decided to pick a Florida team. Usually, I like picking the teams that are normally we see them. They have pretty good basketball programs, like a Florida or whatever. But my team right now, I mean, I gotta go Gonzaga. I guess Gonzaga's a pretty good basketball like college team.
Listen,
right there.
That's a realistic team to win it all. Obviously, right now they're still like one of the top teams. And they got Creighton, number 5. Then we got USC, which don't sleep on USC. That's one of the tallest, longest teams out here. I don't know if you heard of the Mobley, I believe that's their name, brothers that's on that team. Definitely contenders for the NBA right now.
Well, wasn't that upset? Didn't they upset somebody?
They beat Kansas. They beat Kansas.
Yeah, they beat Kansas. That's
what it was. USC?
Yeah.
Yeah, USC. 85-51.
They beat Kansas.
85-51.
Yep. So right now you got USC, Oregon, which Oregon's making a nice little run. You got Michigan versus Florida State. We still got a Florida school in here.
Got your boy Juwan Howard out there ready to swing. He's ready to swing.
Yeah, he's in there. We got UCLA, Bama. And then you got Baylor, Villanova, which Baylor's playing amazing right now. It's insane. But don't sleep on Villanova. They won a couple years back, so they got a little experience in there. Then you got Arkansas, Oral Roberts. Honestly, bro, if I was Oral Roberts, I wouldn't want to go against any other team right now because I'm looking at all these names over here. They definitely have a chance against Arkansas and get into that Elite 8.
Arkansas does seem like
crazy.
Arkansas does seem like the best bet.
That would be for them to move on. They're in a good position right now in the Sweet 16 to have a great chance to go to the Elite 8, bro. But honestly, there's just so much going on, and of course, last but not least, we got Syracuse, Houston. So let's go, Q's, baby.
Shout out to Texas, man. Texas is showing up. Got Oral Roberts, got Baylor, got
that's crazy, man.
Texas Tech.
The March Madness is in effect, man. Like you see these teams, like usually there's like 1 or 2 teams. They'll be like surprise, like Cinderella teams. That'll be like maybe a surprise upset, but like it seems like it's like across the board on both sides of the fucking bracket. Like teams, like it's anybody's game, man. That makes college exciting like that. Anybody can just you got a chance. Dude, as long as you play hard, you got a chance.
But listen, that's a lot of the games, you guys weren't watching the games like that, or I don't know how many games you guys have seen, but a lot of the games are like they're insane. Listen, I'm talking clutch threes at the end, tying it to go to overtime. I think there was a double overtime game. Buzzer beaters. Like this March Madness is one for the books, bro.
I mean, March Madness. Well, that's why I've always personally been a bigger college basketball fan than I have been NBA. This year I didn't really watch too much because the Tar Heels fucking suck. But I've always been a big college basketball guy because it's one of the college basketball is like it's any man's game. It really is, especially when March Madness comes around. It's just like you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I feel like tournament style. Yeah, it definitely anyone has a chance.
That's why like fucking college football. College football needs to pick up like really expand the playoffs, dude.
I don't know what they're waiting for, but they need to expand that playoff.
Dude, I saw somebody do a mock like rank 16, a top 16 bracket. I was like, yo, that's fucking. That probably never happened, but that shit was hype. Like I'd be down because the thing too, it's like in college basketball with this March Madness, you're changing the basketball program. You're changing that program for a long time. Like now you have that on your resume. I mean, look at like places like VCU and like Wichita State. Before they had those Cinderella runs a few years ago, like it's been a while now, but like they're always now are recognized as like people want to go there now. Yep, like it changed that program. Like a place like Oral Roberts is forever going to be changed. A place like Loyola beating Illinois, like Illinois. I mean, Loyola is probably that's probably my team I'm root for now. I mean, that's probably gonna be my bandwagon team. That and maybe
Cinderella team.
Yeah, some of my Cinderella team. My realistic pick is probably Michigan, but yeah, man, like that you're forever changing those programs, and that to me, that's why I love college basketball. It's like it's any man's game.
We could potentially be seeing a change in the tide right now in terms of recruiting. A lot of these top high school players may not want to go to these big name schools anymore. You know what I mean? Teams like UNC haven't been playing well. Duke hasn't been playing well. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I was gonna say too. I think college basketball as a whole might get hit because what was that? The league that they're now. What is that? The developmental league, was it the G League or something? Like they're allowing players from high school to go in there and a minimum I think is like $100,000 or something like that. And NCAA's came out and saying that if anybody takes any sort of dollar, that the NBA is one of the, you want to talk about the biggest fucking crooks in all of sports, NCAA. Those guys are fucking crooks. But I guess they said if any player takes $1 for playing basketball, they are not allowed to be put in any NCAA
they're gonna lose their eligibility. Yeah.
But I think, man, it's kind of scary because it's like, how much longer will we have March Madness? How much longer will kids start going to like this developmental league and work their way through? Because what do you guys know the name of the league I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the G League.
It's G League, right? Okay, I thought I was right. Yeah.
No, Gatorade bought out the name, and it's now the NBA G League.
Yeah, and that's crazy because most, if you think of the top players who come out of high school, they end up playing 1 year anyways. They go to they go to Kansas, they go to North Carolina, they play 1 year, and then they go to the NBA anyway. So why would you hinder a high school kid who's just trying to work a job, or maybe he I don't know,
or risk getting hurt? Like I mean, like you risk getting hurt when you can go to this league, make good money. Like obviously it's not NBA money, but like that's 6 figures, dude. That's a lot. A lot of people in this country don't make that. And like to be able to do that is like, why go when you
NCAA is a fucking racket.
Going to completely disband the NCAA, but in terms of talent recruitment, some of the top players obviously might just skip the college. Like
it's going to affect it. It's going to affect it.
Top ranked players would, if they could make it and make money right away, they would probably do that. But I don't think it's gonna really disband, obviously NCAA. But maybe it'll affect top schools in terms of recruitment, though.
I think it's really gonna
shine.
Yeah, to me, I think it's like it's really gonna affect like All Americans and stuff like that. Like those guys, if you're All American, you're probably gonna go that route. I mean, at least I would. Like start making your money now before you get hurt. unless you want a college degree. But like, obviously, I think you'll always have the NCAA. You'll always have college basketball. But it's like, man, will we start getting a hit with the top recruits, or are you going to start getting those guys where it's like maybe the college will always probably be that place where it's like if you weren't good enough to make the G League, if you're not high enough, then you're going to go to college. But like you said, yeah, I mean, those top guys, those like top 5 prospects coming in the nation or whatever, they're not going to be picking up college hats. They're going to start picking up fucking G League hats and taking their ass to fucking Des Moines, Iowa, and playing for like, or go to Europe. I mean, you're already starting to see it. You're already starting to see it with Europe, like people going over there. I'd rather go play in fucking Lithuania and make fucking good money and come back over here and get drafted. Look at LaMelo.
People who don't get drafted, they end up going up, to get paid anyways because, they got to still feed their family because they're not in college anymore, which NCAA is a fucking racket anyways because
it
if you're going to hinder somebody,
racket.
You're going to hinder somebody from making money like while they're an adult. Like I can, when I'm 18, I can easily go get a job. I can fucking work at McDonald's, work at Walmart. But you're saying I can't play basketball for money because why? Because
after you make fucking millions of dollars off their name, I can go work at the fucking bookstore on campus as a normal student, but these guys can't make a dime.
Yeah. It's a fucking racket, man. It's a fucking racket. The way they treat some of these players. And like I said, the best of them, they leave. They play 1 year and they fucking go to the NBA and get paid because they, and then, maybe those mid-level players, those are the guys that stay around 2, 3, 3, 4 years.
I wouldn't be
until they can develop, you know what I mean? And that they're develop their skills. So
yeah, it's not like football where I think you have to play 3 years.
I think Ben Simmons, obviously during the season he attended class and everything, and then when the season ended, he just stopped going to class. He didn't care. He knew he was gonna get drafted, so he was like,
I think wasn't that like a thing with the D Rose too when he was at Memphis? Like they were saying like D Rose probably shouldn't even play because he wasn't like, I guess his grades were ass or something like that.
And most of the time, these guys aren't even seeing campus. I can tell you when I was in school, like the football players. I went to school around Tallahassee. Like these guys were never on campus. Sometimes you would see them on campus at the fun stuff, the social stuff. But these guys never showed up in class because they put them all online. I think there was a big scandal too at FSU recently, like in 2015 or something. They put them all in online classes. They don't make them so they can go fucking work and go practice and go lift weights.
Well, the thing too is like some of these college, obviously, I mean, we've seen it. I mean, look at like all the Reggie Bushes of the world and all that. Like some colleges are willing to pay. Like, I mean, these fucking colleges make so much money. It's ridiculous. And like, they're willing to pay. So it's like, it's the fucking NCAA that's, they don't allow it. Yeah, I mean, they're bringing back what's it called? NCAA football back, video game.
The video game.
Yeah.
Finally.
They're bringing that shit back. I remember I used to have that shit on the Wii. I used to play that shit for hours. Me and my friends used to come over, and then you could play with like the mascots. I don't know if you guys ever played NCAA football.
Bro, I haven't played in a long ass time years. I don't even remember the last time I played.
Yeah, I feel like we should.
I mean, it's been years. It was like since 2010 was probably the last time I played one. But I remember I had it on the Wii back when it first came, and you could play as like the mascots and shit. It was pretty dope. I remember that. So I'm pretty pumped to see that back. I mean, I probably won't get it, but I think it's cool to have it back though. And then you'll see like number 15, and you'll see no name, but like it's clearly fucking Tim Tebow. Like it's like clearly Tim Tebow.
Same height, same size, just this player. How y'all feel about this episode? I feel like we cover a lot of sports.
Gabe, you actually bring. So we're doing surprise topics, and Gabe actually has. So we're going to be cycling through, and everybody's going to bring a surprise topic. But this week is Gabe's turn. Gabe has a surprise topic for all of us, and Gabe.
All right, so I wanted to get a debate on this because this came out in the news recently as far as NHL. We kind of skipped NHL this weekend. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But recently there was an NHL referee that got caught on a hot mic, I guess, basically saying he was like the main referee that calls the fouls, like, penalty, hooking, sticking, whatever, roughing. And he left his mic on, and he was talking to another referee and said, pretty much, I wanted to get a foul early on this team. And pretty much that went over air, like live air, went over TV, and pretty much he immediately got fired from the NHL. This guy is he's been in the NHL for a long time. So here's what I want to talk. I want to extrapolate that out to all sports. It could be baseball, football, NBA, whatever. A lot of times in sports, especially I think of the NBA. whenever, especially when playoff time comes around, there's always certain referees that like, oh man, this guy's gonna fucking ref our game. He's gonna be the head guy. Or in baseball, he's like, oh man, he's the home plate umpire. Like this guy, there's names that, you can pick a name. Like in baseball, I can pick Angel Hernandez. Who's the other fat guy? I can't think of. I forget his name. In basketball, there's certain referees. So like, how do you feel about a referee getting in trouble for like maybe what he got fired for is pretty much for saying I was gonna be ticky tacky. I was gonna give an easy foul to this other team because I want to show this team that, hey, I'm not playing around. I'm not rushing around. How do you feel about he got fired just because that was like on a live mic and it went out live. But I kind of feel like that happens in sports across all sports where like on some spots they'll be ticky tacky or there's like a gimme call where a referee missed a call, so they on the other end of the floor they'll call it the other way. How do you feel about JoJo? How do you feel about a referee getting fired for being on a hot mic and just trying to do like one of these? Okay, I missed that call, but I'm gonna call a foul over here.
Honestly, you got caught doing it. It good. You know why? Because right, who's to say that's the first time you've done it? Who's to say you've never manipulated games? Right. So as a referee, right, you have basically the authority and power of the entire game, which way it's going to run, right? So you need, in any sport, you need to keep that integrity, the integrity of the sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, it really doesn't matter, right? You need to be fair across all playing fields. So if you have any bias towards a team, you should not be a ref. Or if you have any bias towards any players, you should not be refereeing because it automatically gives the other team an unfair competitive advantage, which obviously it's kind of impossible to monitor because you never know, right? Not every, ref, is equal. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna have biased refs out there, right? You're gonna get an interaction with a player. They're gonna keep that in the back of their mind where I'm gonna call out easy fouls on these guys, or he complains a lot, or I'm gonna red flag him in soccer, and anything like that. Which now in NBA, which real quick just to bring up, I don't know if you guys noticed, but they're throwing people out of the game every other game now. These ticky-tack calls, they're teching them up.
Get
they're
your throwing ass out of here.
Just like that. So I feel like they have their own little thing going on right now, which is weird. But to answer your question, he got what he deserved. If you got caught, you know what I'm saying? If he was a ref for years, again, playoff time, championships, who's to say he didn't play a part in another team winning because of his bias? You know what I mean?
And to me, it's like one of these things where we kind of know it goes on in games, like whether it be NBA or whatever. Like maybe a player's yelling at you all game, and you're like, okay, you're yelling at me. You're like, okay, if you get fouled on, I'm not gonna call it. But if you even breathe on somebody, I'm gonna call a foul. So we kind of know that.
Soccer, they don't play that shit. Soccer, you start yelling at the ref, that's your fucking red card. Which is true. So I think
it's kind of unspoken, but this guy got caught on the mic, so it's something unspoken that got out live to the public. So like Julian, like how do you feel about a referee, even though should it be like what JoJo's saying, like should they be unbiased and just it just be unsaid, or how do you feel about that going forward as far as
all right? So my thing with the ref and and I always look around and I always say like some team paid the refs. I always say that, but like my thing is all I ask for in a ref is consistency, and you especially see that. I mean, you see it in a lot of sports, but I'm going to bring it like football, for example. It's like you'll see one play where you see a pass interference call, and it was clearly a pass interference call, but then they don't call it. But then another one, you'll see it, and he'll fucking tap the guy, or sometimes not even touch him, and they call it. And all I ask for is consistency. When I see a ref, I just want to see you're going to call the same play no matter what. Like if you want to see guys play hard, then we're going to let them play hard. Like this is playoff football or this is playoff basketball. It's going to be physical. Let's let them play. But if you want to start calling every call, I don't really like that. But if you're consistent with it, at least teams and coaches and players can understand. Like, all right, they're going to get this. I rather you just let the guys play. Just let them fucking play, man. Like, chill on the holding calls. Chill on the pass interference. Let these guys fucking play. Like, chill on the charging. Like, let these guys fucking play, man. Like, but if you're not, and if you want to stay really true to the rules, and you want to make sure you're calling a perfect game, at least be consistent. At least be consistent. So players know. I mean, and to me, I think one of the hardest for sure is like DBs and offensive linemen. Like those are one of the hardest guys because like you don't know what the fuck to do because it's like you can kind of press on one guy, but then the ref might call it on you, but then the next moment the other guy could press on your homeboy on the other side of the field and do that to you, or vice versa. You know, and that's the thing that pisses me off the most. It's like just be consistent. Just be consistent. Like, and
do you have any last words, JoJo? I feel like we're gonna end it right here.
Yeah, last words, man. I was gonna say the most annoying thing, and as an ex-player, baseball, man, when you see that strike call, that consistent strike call, and out of nowhere they just switch it up. Like, what was that over the plate? It wasn't over the plate. Even if you're gonna call that, at least call that the whole game, bro. Like,
exactly.
So we
no,
we're here watching. Obviously, you're in the batter's box. You're watching, for strikes and balls. You're watching the ump. You're watching the timing of the pitches, and then you step up something way off, you're gonna call that a strike. Especially in the MLB, you see it all the time. You could,
listen. And don't get me wrong, like being a ref,
I don't think happen. You know what I mean? But you said, consistency.
And don't get me wrong, being a ref is fucking hard, bro. Like it's hard. It's really hard because you're asking these guys to make split decision seconds for things that they can't even see. And like us as fans, I mean, we look at the scoreboard and we see the instant replay. I mean, obviously, when we see it, we're like, how the fuck did you call that? But you got to think, these guys are on ground level. You're not high up, so you can't really see. And then it's happening so fast. Like, it's happening so fast, especially because, I mean, these guys are super athletes. So it's like, I do acknowledge that it's like, it's a hard-ass fucking job. And you clearly saw that back when the refs held out, the Fail Mary and all that shit. Like, the tuck rule and all that garbage.
I believe you can make mistakes, bro. As long as your morals are there and you're unbiased, you know what I mean. That'll make the best refs, right? You learn from your mistakes and keep moving forward. But like the whole scandal thing you said with the hockey, like who knows how long he's been doing that. But go ahead, Gabe, to close it up.
I just want to close it off because I feel like it's a good way to end up. We have lots of sports that we're going to talk about next week. Obviously, we're going to talk about March Madness. We're going to talk about, see if there's any other NFL moves as we lead into NFL. Obviously, there's pro days and stuff, so the combine's coming up in the draft as well. Baseball's about to start off next week. I don't know if we'll talk about it. Maybe we'll talk about our favorite teams. If there's any new, any good players or new moves that we want to talk about. NHL sports is happening. Real Fans Podcast, all the things. We appreciate y'all coming out, checking out, listening to our podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the things. Appreciate y'all coming out. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.
Kyle Lowry, peace.